I figured out how to do it. So proud of myself. So I am inspired to do a live right now, y'all, because if you guys have been following my content for a while, you know this about me. Should I let people come in? Should I let people come in before I start talking? This is Rashida Gay. I'm your favorite marriage mindset coach. I am deeply, deeply fascinated by psychology and, more importantly, relationship psychology. Gasp. Some of my favorite topics are psychology and relationship psychology. I could probably talk about these things for days and days and days. And I haven't watched all the Love is Blind seasons. I'm doing good. I'm doing it. Alhamdulillah. I'm great. I haven't watched all the Love is Blind seasons. I've watched a couple of seasons. And as you guys know, I love relationship psychology. I love figuring out why women and men choose the partners they choose, what is happening within them, their childhood programming, their insecurities, and how their insecurities are showing up in the men and women they choose. I'm fascinated by this topic. And as a marriage mindset coach, I've been married for over 20 years. I've done tons of healing work on myself. I've had therapists and coaches dig way down deep inside of my head and my heart to make sure that I'm the every day working on becoming the best version of myself, not just for myself and my business and my life and my children as a mother, but also to create a healthy, loving marriage, which I've done with my husband of 20 years through a lot of the work that we did. And I always tell couples that, somebody sent me a message like not even that long ago about this topic, and they're like, what questions would I ask a man in the courtship period? And I was like, questions don't really matter. Questions don't matter because people can say anything to you in courtship. They can tell you anything. But you want to start getting a deeper look at their behaviors. And their behaviors tell you a lot about what's happening deep down within them. Look at their behaviors. Their words do too, but specifically their behaviors are telling you their insecurities and their wounds and their triggers and their childhood programming. So I've been watching the Love is Blind season 9. I'm right before we get to the wedding. And I've been taking notes because I'm like, these people have some serious, serious insecurities. And so I've been taking notes of what the things I noticed about each character. And I want to share these things. And I'm wondering if you guys can share your notes too. I'm wondering if you guys are seeing things in this season that you're like, these people are deeply insecure. They're deeply insecure. And I keep saying, literally, I'm like throwing things at the screen. Please go see a therapist. You need a therapist. I'm literally yelling at the screen. You need a therapist. So let's start with Madison. And my heart goes out to all the cast. My heart goes out to them because I really think a lot of people's insecurities and wounding and triggers are from childhood. And they've never really... And I think this is why the show is good, because I think the characters will go back and watch the show and be like, oh my God, girl, I need a therapist. Like, if they don't see that when they watch the show, I hope they see that. So let's start with Madison. Madison is deeply insecure, if y'all haven't noticed that. Madison... there was a scene where she was like, she was on the boat with Joe, and she was like, I always felt like I wasn't enough. She said that to him. I always felt like I wasn't enough, and I always wanted to be chosen, and I always wanted someone to choose me to make me feel good enough. So what do you think she's going to attract in a man? She's going to attract a man that doesn't make her feel good enough. I keep telling y'all, whatever energy is in you, you're going to attract that same energy from a man. So because she is deeply insecure, because she doesn't feel good enough, she has partnered in the show with a man that doesn't like her physically. That's his issue. He doesn't, walaikum assalam, beautiful woman. He doesn't like her physically. He even said to the producers, I normally go for a skinnier woman. So he doesn't like her physically. And this is what I think. I don't think she likes herself physically. She doesn't feel good enough. She doesn't feel special. She doesn't feel that within herself. She just wanted to be chosen. And you can't just let any man choose you. You can't do that. So, and the other thing I noticed too was when she went to dinner with his family asked her, what do you like about Joe? She said, he's attentive and he makes me feel chosen. She didn't mention anything about his characteristics. She didn't say that he treated her well. She didn't say he was a good person. She was like, "Oh, he chose me." Yes. Did y'all peep that? That means anybody who chooses her, she'll run away with. Even if the person is deeply flawed and insecure like her. I was flabbergasted. I'm like, is anybody analyzing the show like I'm analyzing the show? I'm taking notes because, like I said, I love relationship psychology, right? Annie. Okay, let's go to Annie. She's another one. Annie's biggest fear is rejection, because she mentioned that she was constantly asking, what was the guy's name? Annie, and what was the guy? Nick. She was constantly asking Nick, "Do you like me? Do you love me? I feel like you don't love me the way I love you. I feel like you don't love me the way I love you." Her fear of rejection was screaming through the screen. And then what do you think she attracts? A man that rejects her. Simple. I hope you guys are learning from these shows and asking yourself those same questions. Do I feel unworthy? Do I have a fear of rejection? Is it showing up in the men that come into my life? Nick is a perfect example of, and the thing I think she does too is I think she self-sabotages. Because I think deep down inside of herself, she doesn't really believe she deserves to be loved. So she subconsciously chooses men that really deep down don't love her. And then she's afraid the whole time. She's like, "I don't know if they really like me. I don't know if he really likes me. I feel like I like him more." Gasp. This is a good season if you are into relationship psychology. There's so much of it all through all the couples. And she kept telling Nick, I remember she kept telling Nick that I feel like I love you more than you love me. Gasp. Why would you be with a man that in your heart you feel like you love him more than he loves you? That's a deeply insecure woman, if you cannot see that. A woman who knows her value and her worth and loves and honors herself would be like, "Yeah, my husband loves me because I'm amazing. Yeah, my fiance wants to marry me because I'm amazing." She wouldn't be questioning him and saying, "Do you love me enough? I feel like I love you more." So I hope y'all peeped that. And then at the end, remember when Annie and Nick broke up? And at the end on the sofa, she was like, "Please, please, just don't do this. Please don't do this." She was literally begging him at the end of their relationship not to break up with her. I was like, "Please stop." I was like, I wanted to hug her. I was like, if I could just send a hug through the screen and tell her you are valuable. Like, I just want to shake women sometimes. I want to shake them up, and tell them you're valuable. You don't have to beg a man to want to stay with you. I was like, ugh. This season, y'all, got me so in my feels. And then, okay, so we're off Annie. So now let's talk about Edmund. You know, my heart goes out to Edmund. Because Edmund, as y'all remember, he told the story of him coming from a foster home. Yeah, she literally begged him not to leave her. A woman begging a man not to leave her. I was deeply perplexed by that. But anyway. So if you guys have comments, too, put your comments. If you guys have been peeping the relationship psychology in the storylines, put your comments in here. I'd love to hear what notes you've taken about which characters and what you thought. So with Edmund, y'all, my heart goes out to him because he mentioned that he grew up in foster care. And when you've experienced trauma as a child, what they say happens a lot is that you sort of get stuck in that age. It's called arrested development. So you kind of get stuck. Say you experienced severe trauma at 7 or 10. There's a part of you stuck in that age at 7. And if you noticed the scene where he was climbing in the cabinets when they got to the apartment in Denver, and then he was like, "Oh, look how big the cabinet is." And he's like putting his whole body in the cabinet like a kid. And when he loves to roller skate, he's literally still like a child inside. And I really think he needs therapy. And I really hope he gets therapy. He's a child inside, right? And I think he is operating from a lack of self-acceptance and self-love. And he was wanting KB to make him feel good. If you remember, there was a scene where he was like, "Just say something nice. Just say something nice." Which when I saw that, what I felt was like maybe his mother or the women in his life talked to him in a mean way or in an aggressive way, or they belittled him, because he was like basically begging her, "Just say something nice to me." And that broke my heart. I was like, oh my God. I was like, KB and him cannot be together. We'll get to KB in a second. But I was like, KB is not for him. He needs therapy, and he needs a woman who is soft with him. He's very much too in his feminine energy. If you notice that, it could not be adulthood. Yeah, it could, but the thing is, everything, the root is in childhood. This is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. You came onto the planet. Yeah, KB literally was his social worker. And KB takes pride in the role of being a social worker, and she was operating like she was his social worker, but she was not always nice to him. And that's, we'll get into KB in a second. But what I want you guys to understand is that who you are now, if you've not worked on yourself and you've not done any therapy or coaching, or you've not healed from the past, you are a reflection. This adult part of you is going to have a part of you that is still a child, that is still operating, making choices, behaving like a child. We all have parts of us, right? So there's an adult part, and there's what they call the inner child. There's an inner child part of you that sometimes is still behaving like a child as a 25-year-old or 50-year-old. And this is why it's important for us to always do the inner work to recognize when the different parts are presenting. Is the 12-year-old part of me presenting now, acting this way? Is the 7-year-old part of me what's presenting, right? So with KB, the thing about KB that's very interesting is KB said, if y'all notice, she was like, I'm tired of being strong. I want to be taken care of. I'm tired of having to lead. But she subconsciously chose a man that can't lead. He's still in his childhood. She subconsciously chose a man that she would need to take care of, that she would need to support, that she would need to emotionally support, that she would have to be his social worker. So there's a dynamic where even though she's saying she wants to be taken care of and she wants a masculine man and she's tired of being in her masculinity and she wants to be more feminine, she's actually not ready for that. And if y'all noticed the part where they were up on the snowmobile, I noticed this too. Like, there was a scene where she asked him, he was opening a jar or something, and she was like, do you want me to help you open that? And I had to clutch my pearls. I was like, did she just ask a grown man to help him open a jar, but you want to be taken care of? Girl, she's so much in her masculine. And I think that's father wound stuff. If you noticed, her father was in her life. She said that. So there's some father wound stuff going on with that. But I thought, why would you ask the grown man to open a jar for you? And then the scene where she drove the snowmobile, she was very much in the leadership role in that relationship. And she would berate him. She actually called him a bee on the mountain. Did y'all hear that part where she was like, don't be a bee? And I was like, did she just call a grown man a bee? And then when she like apologized to him afterwards, she was like, I'm really working on myself. I'm working to have more patience. And, that's not who I normally am. And you bring this character out of me. And I was thinking, this is who you are. What are you talking about? Nobody can bring anything out of you that is not already in you. Right? Yeah, you want a provider. She's like, I want a provider, but she's not actually ready for a provider. KB has some work to do in herself. Seriously, like KB has both, and this is what I noticed with this show and with couples in general. The unhealthy patterns usually are attracted to each other. Do y'all notice that? People in marriages or relationships that are very unhealthy, they attract each other like a moth to a flame. And they usually have very similar wounding. This is why I tell women, you don't have to focus on men. You have to focus on healing your own wounding and releasing your own childhood programming that's getting in the way of you truly loving yourself and being able to give love, true love, and receive love. We don't have to focus on men, right? Somebody asked me a question. They were like, what are courtship questions? And I was like, courtship questions don't matter. I think people are not understanding like that you're attracting what's in you. So you got to work on making sure you love yourself, you honor yourself, you value yourself, you know your worth. Because then what you're going to naturally attract in a partner is the same energy. That person loves himself, values himself, honors himself. So because they have that energy in them, they can give it to you, right? Okay, let me see. You guys have questions? Let me read your comments. Exactly. Tell them. The subconscious mind is always going to attract what feels familiar. It will. Until you start seeing your subconscious until you start becoming more aware of your behaviors. Why am I doing that? Why am I thinking that? Why would I behave that way? What's the root of that? Until you start doing the work, you're going to continue the cycles of unhealthy patterns in relationship. And these characters will too. They're in patterns. Most people will get married, get divorced, and then remarry the same person. And they're like, why do I keep or be in a relationship with someone, leave them, break up, and then attract the same thing? It's because they haven't changed. They haven't changed, right? Okay, let me keep going. So this was a live off the cuff, y'all. I didn't plan this. I was just watching Love Is Blind last night, and I'm like, I was taking notes while I was watching it, right? So Joe, girl, my heart went out to Madison because Joe strung her along for too long. But the thing about Joe, if y'all noticed, when he told her mother at dinner that he was engaged before, and right before the wedding invitations went out, he canceled the wedding. So Joe is in a pattern of, this is what I think about Joe. I don't think Joe really loves himself. I think Joe settles. I think Joe wants to be loved, so he settles for a woman that he really doesn't want. He didn't really want Madison, and I don't think he wanted his ex-fiance either. But there's something in him that's saying, no, I just want to be loved, and I just want to get married, but then he's choosing women he doesn't really want. Gasp. He's choosing women that in his heart he doesn't really want. And if Madison was really in love with herself, she would have recognized it. You know how many men do that? My brother's on. You know how many men uni do that? They choose women that they don't really want to be with because in essence, what they really want is they want to feel loved. They want to feel loved. But if you are with someone that you're not attracted to, just so you can feel loved by them, gasp. That's a wound. That's a huge wound, right? And I feel like he just obliterated her feelings. Like at the end when he finally got the courage to break up with her, he's also not a very brave person because a brave man would have told her from the jump, I'm not physically attracted to you. I don't want to be with you. But at the end, girl, let's see. Yes, he was drinking a lot. Yeah, Joe was, and we're going to get into Anton in a minute. But Joe was drinking a lot, and people who do that, it's to numb feelings. So as he's in his heart knowing I'm not physically attracted to this woman, I don't really want to marry her, he's drinking alcohol to numb the truth, to numb the feelings of, I don't really want to be with her, but I just want someone to love me. This is why I tell y'all, you got to love yourself. You can't look for people to love you because you will always make the wrong choices in men and women. What else? Oh, the other thing about Joe, I think there's a part of him that doesn't believe that he gets to have what he wants. So he settles. Do you know how many people in the world, when I get into their subconscious, like when I'm talking to clients, and I've worked with hundreds of women all over the world, and when I get way down deep inside of them, what comes up is in their heart, they really believe they don't get to have what they want. So they settle. If you don't believe you get to have what you really, really want, you're going to settle every single time. So you got to work on that. So let's go to Nick. If y'all noticed the scene where Nick's parents came to visit Annie and Nick and his mother, this is why I tell y'all women, you got to start talking to the mothers. You got to start getting into the heads of their mothers because their mothers will subconsciously tell you who they were as children. And his mother said, he always keeps things inside. She's like, he's always so even kill. Like he never shares his true feelings. To me, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. That means he's putting on a mask of who he wants people to think he is. And if you notice, a lot of the other characters peep Nick. They were all like, yeah, Nick is very fake. And even the girl that he left in the pods to go with Annie, she said the same thing. She's like, he's so fake. His own mother said he was fake. His own mother said it. So people who wear masks, usually they have a lot to hide. Men who wear masks, it's because they're hiding something way down deep in the inside of themselves. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to guess. But people who are inauthentic like that, they're hiding something. They're hiding something. That's a huge red flag. When his mother said that, I would have been like taken aback. I'd have been like, okay, we got to go. We got to end this. But Annie was so desperate to feel loved and be loved. She didn't hear it and she didn't peep it. This is why I tell you guys, when your self-love is on 10, your discernment radar goes like this. So here's the curve. So self-love 10, discernment radar 10. Self-love 2, discernment radar 2. When your self-love is not good and your self-worth is not good, your discernment radar is broken. Is broken. And you can't read the signs, you can't feel people's real energies and intentions. This is why I tell women, work on your self-love. It'll make your discernment radar about men. You'll be hearing and feeling what they're saying underneath the words. When his mother said that, I was like, he's inauthentic. He's wearing a mask, right? Okay, Megan. The thing about Megan is, to be honest with you, Annie was a little bit, something was very off with Annie too, which is probably why they were attracted to each other. I kind of think it was like they both were inauthentic. Like they were both trying to get something from each other that they don't naturally have within themselves. And this is why I was telling you guys, be very authentic in courtship. Be very authentic. If you're an inauthentic person, if you're very fake, you're going to attract fakeness in a man. And two fake people together, it will ruin a marriage. Marriages have to be built on honesty. You have to present yourself as the person you really are. You cannot be fake and build a healthy, loving marriage. Okay? So with Megan, I think Megan is the type of person that, and I know this because I used to be her, so I know this, where they equate materialism and achievement and success with worth. So she's equated the fact that she's a business owner, she bought her first house in LA, she has her own money. She equates those two things with, that means I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy. And if you noticed, all her previous boyfriends left her, which made her very insecure. So what it made her do was ask herself, which is what you should do when you see yourself in a pattern. If I keep attracting the same thing over and over again, maybe I need to try something different. Because this pattern of man, it's not working for me. So I will give her credit. I'll give her credit that she did try something different with, what's the kid's name? I can't think of his name right now. The guy that what's the guy that Megan was with, y'all? I can't think of his name. Jordan. So she was trying to create a different experience and not equate money to love and not equate success to love, like a lot of women do. They think, well, I'm successful and I should be with a successful man because we're gonna just go really nice together like peanut butter and jelly. It's what she thought. So she was trying something different with Jordan, but I think they end up breaking up. But Jordan was trying to show her what real love is through the love of his son. He loved his son dearly. Did you see the scene where he called his son chicken butt? I was cracking up because I called my kids chicken butt when they were little. He really understands what love really is. The love that he has for his son is a real love. And he was trying to share that love with her to show her love is not about success. Love is not about money. It's about this genuine emotional connection that two human beings share where they want to support each other and they want to care for each other. And it's not about how much money this person is making and that person is making. And her, if you notice, there was a scene where he met her parent, her mom and her sister. Her sister told her, Megan's father died. Her sister told her that their dad came to her in a dream. And her dad had type 1 diabetes and Jordan's son has type 1 diabetes. And her dad said, he's the one for you. He's just like me. And I was in tears thinking about my dad. I was in tears, like, gasp. She didn't recognize that maybe her dad was trying to get her a message. It was like, focus on love. Don't focus on success and money and all the other stuff that you've built she's built her whole identity around. And I don't think she was willing to change her identity, because at the end they're gonna break up. They broke up, right? But I think her and Jordan would have been good together if she was willing to give up this notion that money and love live on the same planet. And he has to have money, he has to be successful for him to love me. And let me see. Yeah, I feel so bad for his son, y'all, because his son is probably like already attached to her, and for them to break up like that, like I hope Jordan's in a good space. I hope his son is in a good space. And with Jordan, the other thing with hold on, I wrote some stuff down. I want to make sure I cover everything. Oh, the other thing she did to him that I thought was so unfair was like when she would be like, "Why aren't you talking? Why aren't you talking? Like we've been talking through the pods," and he's like, "Girl, we're in real life, just like the pods. And I'm tired. I work all day, and you get to play tennis at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays, and you get to travel, and I have to work to build my dreams. Maybe you've already built your dream, and now you're chilling, or maybe you come from money and now you're chilling, but I have to work." And she didn't have any compassion for him, and I was like, she doesn't really know what love is. She doesn't know what love is. And I think Jordan was really trying to teach her what it is. And I feel like that's why he was in her life, but she wasn't getting the message. She wasn't getting the message. And I heard she's pregnant now. So I don't know about that, y'all. But I heard she's pregnant now. So yeah, it's so true, Butterfly. I feel like a lot of people really don't know what love is. Love is like a deep spiritual, emotional connection to another human being. And I used to be like Megan, and then God sent me a man that wasn't on my level, my social economic, it's bull, on that level. And he blew all my perceptions out of the water about the list that I had of what he has to accomplish and what he has to do. And now my husband he makes way more money than me. Is in business, just all these amazing things. But he wasn't there when I first met him. And I had to challenge my own like limitations about the value of a man and what it actually means to love another human being. Like, I feel like he really taught me that. So I hope Megan can go back and watch the show and see Jordan was like a sweetheart. Like Jordan was one of the men I felt like that really had a good heart and was coming from a good place. And he was trying to connect to her heart, not her money. Tears. So I saw myself reflected in her a lot. And I was like, I'm so glad I changed. Because if I hadn't changed and I was still this materialistic person, I wouldn't have given my husband a chance. And we've been married 20 years. So I think women have to really start to really see men for who they are, beyond just their wallets. Okay, let's see. What's my advice for moving past betrayal? I'm just gonna focus on Love Is Blind. I think I'll still do another TikTok on Friday while I answer questions. But this was specifically for Love Is Blind because I was like floored by the season. Okay, so next is Anton. I'll be honest with y'all about Anton. I don't think Anton feels good enough for Allie on the deep, deep level. And I think that's why he was drinking a lot. I think because he knows Ali is very like, I want to be taken care of. I want to have an amazing life. I love nice things. I think she stirred some deep insecurities in him because he was like a truck driver. You saw the scene where her friends were talking and they were like, how are you going to marry a truck driver? And da-da-da-da-da. So I think deep in his heart, he didn't feel good enough for her. That's why he was drinking a lot, right? I told you men drink the numb feelings and numb the feelings, right? And the other thing is he, I think secretly didn't really believe a beautiful woman could want him. This is the man who goes to strip clubs. Think about it. Put those two together. So the man who goes to strip clubs to see beautiful women, there's a part of that man that thinks I can't have a beautiful woman unless I'm paying for her to have her be in my presence. So I think he was insecure about his level of success. And that's why he was drinking. Yeah, you know what? Butterfly, I believe that. I believe he thought I don't really deserve to be with a beautiful woman. And that was messing with him inside. And remember I told you whatever's in you is manifested in the other person? And we'll get into Allie in a second. And secretly, Allie didn't feel like he was good enough for her either. Even though they had a connection, I think they had a real connection. She felt he wasn't good enough for her, which in turn, he felt he wasn't good enough for her. I already did Edmund, y'all. Edmund was just my heart goes out to Edmund because Edmund just wants to be loved. You saw the part where he was like, just say nothing, say something nice to me. He comes from foster care. His mother was a little bit off too. Did y'all see his mother? Edmund's mother was off, which showed me that he didn't receive love from a woman, from his mother. The first woman that teaches a man what love is his mother. If he's not, and I always tell you guys this, if he's not loved well by his mother, run. Yeah, his mother she was off the spectrum a little bit, which shows me that he hasn't been loved well by a woman. So of course he attracts women who don't love him well. KB was cursing him out, which means that's probably how his mother spoke to him. That's why I always tell y'all, look at the mother with women, look at the mother-son relationship. It'll tell you a lot about how he feels he deserves to be treated by women. Okay. Oh yeah, when he was crying in the bed, y'all, I was like, he's so in his femme. He's deeply hurting. Edmund really needs therapy, and honestly, KB does too. She needs therapy too. So let's go back to, who was I talking about? Anton. Anton doesn't feel good. The other thing I noticed about Anton, y'all, remember the part where Anton was like, okay, do you think we should get monogram sweaters? He sees her as a possession. He wants to own her because he doesn't feel good enough for her. He wants to own her. Just like when he goes to the strip clubs and he gives money for the women, he wants to possess them. Yeah, we should go get monogram sweaters. And even Allie was like, monogram sweaters? For her, that should have been a red flag. Right. Yeah. Anton was, he saw her as a trophy. Exactly. Thank you, Butterfly. That's the word I was going for. He saw her as a trophy, just like he sees the women on the strip clubs as a trophy. He didn't see her as an actual person. Right. You don't want to ever. And I tell really pretty women this because Allie's beautiful. Really pretty women, sometimes they end up with men that see them as a trophy who don't really love them. And then after they get done playing with their toy, because they look at me like she's like a Barbie doll toy, like a Barbie. After that man is done playing with you as a Barbie, he'll be done. So if you're a beautiful woman, you want to always be looking for men that love you for who you are. When you're in courtship, ask a man, what do you like about me? If everything he says is physical, he sees you as a trophy. Right? If he's not telling you characteristics about you, he doesn't really love you. And that's a huge red flag. So Anton was a walking red flag. Allie, the thing about Allie is she wants to be taken care of. And I noticed the family she comes from, she told him, yes, that's the family I come from. I'm used to being taken care of. And my mom used to do my laundry. She cooked and cleaned for me when I was in school. So Allie is used to a certain lifestyle. And she's used to being taken care of. And she wants that in her husband. This is where the conflict came with them. Anton wants a partner. Allie wants a sugar daddy. That's why I knew it was going to work. That's why I knew they weren't going to work. Because she wants a sugar daddy and he wants a partner. So I was like, that's going to be a no-go. And they eventually broke up. And I always felt like he just liked her more. And she was just what she likes. And a lot of pretty women like this, y'all. She likes to feel adored. She likes to feel wanted. She likes to feel like he's so into me. He's so into me. But I don't think she really liked him. I think she liked that he liked her. Which never really creates a healthy, long-lasting marriage, right? Now, the thing about, let's see. Oh, Jordan. So with Jordan, this is the thing that Megan did that really hurt Jordan too. Do you remember the scene where she was like, I'm annoyed by you? That hurt his soul because how he sees himself is he's a good father, he's funny. And when she was like, I'm just annoyed by you, when he was just having fun with Joe at the in Mexico, she tore his soul with that comment. You saw his face with that comment. And I just thought, I knew when she said that you're annoying me, I knew they weren't going to last. Because I'm like, she only wants certain parts of him. She only wants what he can do for her. She even got upset when he was quiet after work, and she's like, well, you're not funny, and that's what I liked about you. Human beings are multidimensional. You can't marry somebody just because you saw two parts of them that you liked. You got to deal with all the parts. We are composed of many parts. And I feel like she just wanted those two parts. Well, he's funny and he's a good dad, and I don't want the rest of that. Right? Just like how I go buy my favorite bag and it has, my favorite labels on it, or how I go buy the house I want and I customize it and I have all the rooms I want. Human beings are not property. I was like, yeah, I knew. I was like, this is Delulu. They're not going to work out. And I really hope, I like Jordan. So I really hope Jordan finds a woman who really can appreciate him, because that's a good dude. Jordan's a good dude. He has a really good heart. And I liked his parents too. Did y'all peep his parents when she went to go talk to the parents? The parents were like laughing and joking, and they said, Megan asked the parents, like, what does it take to have like a long marriage? And they were like, commitment. They know what marriage is about. I don't know if Megan knows. She just thinks it's for fun, and when he's funny, and when he's happy, and what he's giving to you. And Jordan's mom was like, no, it's about commitment. And the dad even said, it's 10%. I like that. He said it's 10% love, 90% commitment, right? How do I know these people? I watch them. I know. And the thing about me, y'all, as a coach, this is one of my gifts, is I read people very well. If y'all talk to any of my clients, they'll tell you, I feel their energy, I listen to their words, and I can tell from their words what's happening within them on the subconscious level, at the level they can't even tell. They say words to me and I say, oh, this is what it is. And they're like, how do you know that? I don't know how I have this gift. I've always had it. When I was little, people would come up to me and share their stories. Grown people, when I was little, their life stories, or how they were hurting, or what was going on with them. So there's something that I really feel like I've been created for this work, because I read people very well. So as I'm watching this show, I'm reading them and I'm like, oh, this is what's really going on beneath what they're saying, beneath the words. Nick. So with Nick, I kind of feel like with Nick, and I kind of peeped this with Nick, and I think this may be a pattern with him, is that if you notice, Annie was emotionally unstable. That girl needs therapy. She was very emotionally unstable. And usually with men that choose emotionally unstable women, I've seen this in my coaching, usually those are men that feel they have to rescue a woman. They will pick an emotionally unstable woman. A man who picks an emotionally unstable woman, she's unstable. There's a part of him that feels like he needs to rescue her or save her, which typically goes back to he felt that about his mother. So I don't know the dynamic of his parents because they were still married, but there's something with that mother. And they probably won't share that on TV, but there's something where he felt like he had to rescue his mother. Because usually at the first sign of emotional instability, a man will run. He'll run. Because most men don't, masculine, healthy men, they don't deal with women with all these she's emotional, unstable, right? Exactly. There's a part of them that feels they have to fix her. I have to fix her, which means they learned that as a child, which means they felt like they had to fix their mother. Sometimes they would have seen their mother hurting or hurt, and then they're like, I have to fix women. And then all the women they attract in their lives are women they try to fix. The good thing about Nick was he recognized it. And that's why he was like, I can't deal with you anymore. Like, you got some issues. Like, I'm done. And he walked away. I was proud of him for that. And I hope Annie watches this show, and I hope she realizes that she needs some help. She needs help. And he probably does too. I think most people need help. Okay? So that was what I did you stop watching it, Amber? Why'd you stop watching it? I'm on the scene where they're getting ready to have the weddings. So yeah, that's my take on it. It's a good season. If you like relationship psychology like I do, it's a great season. So many things to uncover about these people. But if you guys have any comments, you want to put your comments down here. I'm going to get ready to get off if you don't have any comments, because I'm going to get back to work in my business. I just do this on the side because it's fun and I like it. Okay. So I think that's it, guys. It was good hanging out with y'all for a little bit, and I probably still will do my TikTok live on Friday. I don't have a topic yet, but I have literally like 20, 30 different topics in my phone of like TikTok recordings or topics or lives I could do. So if you guys ever have suggestions for TikToks for me, videos you want to watch, things you're interested in, just send me a DM. And I think that's it. Let's see. Oh, you stopped when they're in the pods? Yeah, I always watch the whole thing through because because I like the psychology of people. So I'm trying to figure out how they think. And based upon how they think and how they feel about themselves, what type of people do they choose? I'm fascinated by that. I'm fascinated by it. Okay. I am teaching my skills. That's why I'm doing TikTok, because I want you guys to figure out what is happening within myself, in my mind, in my heart, that's causing me to pick the wrong suitors. What's happening within me? How can I heal it? How can I address it? How can I break my patterns? How can I break my family's patterns? How can I break my childhood patterns so I don't pick the wrong people? Anyway, I'll see you guys later. My salams. It's been fun. This was fun. Now, how do I turn it off? How do I turn this off? I don't know. Oh, there it is. My salams.